Despite so many of the paid reviewers and the Hollywood elites, and even James Gunn himself going out there and trying to convince everyone that The Flash is just the greatest comic book movie of all time, as so many people expected, it fell flat at the box office. But even with all the bad predictions that were out there about The Flash, I'm not sure if anyone thought it would be this bad. After a $55 million opening weekend, nearly a third of what some people expected it to do, it then had the worst DC drop in history in its second weekend, falling over 72% at the box office, a pathetic failure for Warner Brothers and for DC as a whole. But it gets worse, because now in the third weekend, the rest of Hollywood is now rejecting The Flash. Box offices and theaters all around the country are saying, you know what? I don't think we're going to carry this anymore. Maybe this is one of the reasons Warner Brothers had to announce this week that, by the way, we're going to digital after 30 days. 30 days in theaters, and we're going to make this available for video on demand because we know it has no legs whatsoever. Look at this news today. Gone in a Flash coming to fruition. DC's box office buster, The Flash, will lose 1,500 theaters in just its third week. Will play in 2,718 theaters starting this Friday, full stop. To put that in perspective, when we take a look at these things, all these things that came out either while Flash came out or even out before it are going to be playing likely in more theaters than The Flash. When you look at Elemental, definitely will be in more. Spider-Man, No Hard Feelings, even Little Mermaid has possibility to be playing in more theaters. Obviously, with Indiana Jones coming out, that's going to shove some of these things out. You're going to see theaters drop for a couple of these across the board, but there's a chance that several things that were out even before The Flash came out are still going to have more theaters because, shocker, they're actually making money as opposed to The Flash, which is now making less than Elemental, Spider-Man, No Hard Feelings, and even just above The Little Mermaid. A pathetic failure for them. And although it's not the records that they wanted to set with this movie, it is yet again another box office record. Here's Luis Fernando. Exhibitors seem to have lost patience and want The Flash gone, as again, 1,538 movie theaters at domestic box office will stop playing it on Friday. That's the steepest loss of theaters for a DC film in its third weekend ever, of all time, in history. The box office has rejected The Flash. The theaters are rejecting The Flash. The fans have rejected The Flash. Everyone has rejected this movie. Now, we can talk a lot about why this failed, what contributed to it. It was a ton of things. It's the fact that DC hasn't been making good movies lately. It's the fact that James Gunn announced a full reboot of the DC universe. It's the fact that Ezra Miller stars in The Flash, and a lot of people still remember all the things that happened with Ezra Miller over a year ago. It's the moving on from Henry Cavill. It's the way that things have been back and forth, constant change of leadership. It's everything combined to make Flash one of the biggest failures we've ever seen. This is something that is likely going to lose $250 million at the box office for Warner Brothers, a company that's already taken multiple losses on DC films for the last several that came out. Shazam 2 was a flop. Black Adam was a flop. The Batman's really the only positive thing that they've had over the last several years when you look at the numbers. And now they have another pathetic record for Warner Brothers and for DC, the most theaters removed in their third weekend in history. Everyone is trying to get as far away from this movie as they can, even Warner Brothers and DC, because they announced the Superman casting to distract people from this movie's failure. Let me know your thoughts about all this in the comments section below. Smash a like button, subscribe to the channel, ring the bell for notifications, share this video out there, and I'll talk to you later.